Hello everyone, I'm Miss Em, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my tricks for rolling out group roles in my classroom. So at the beginning of the year, I talk a lot about why we do group work in a classroom, and I ask students to reflect on what they want to see in the group work and what they don't want to see in group work. And I write these things down. After writing these things down, I talk about how group roles can really help us meet the things that they want and help us to avoid the things that they don't want. And a lot of the times, at least from my experience, what students want to experience from group work and what they don't want to experience is exactly what I have in mind in terms of when I want to create equal group work. And so when I first roll these out, I introduce each role 1 week at a time because I really want students to practice these roles and I want them to provide feedback to the people that play these roles in their group. So the very first role that I introduce is the coach. And the reason why I introduced the coach is because the responsibility of the coach is to make sure that every student's idea is being heard and listened to. At the beginning of the year, students are just getting to know each other and they may feel shy and not share out their ideas or their thinking. And so the responsibility of the coach is to essentially pick an order in which they want their group members to share out. And I tell my students they can choose clockwise, counterclockwise, youngest to oldest, whatever they like to decide. And so it builds that precedent that students are going to share their questions and their thinking and their approach to the problem that we're going to be working on. The next role that I usually introduce is the role of the skeptic, and this role is really important because the responsibility of the student is to ask questions and really probe deep about other students' methods. As you can see, we have the question mark in the back. The skeptic is always around in this classroom, and students know that they will need to provide justification for their thinking and for their methods. And this role really makes me think of the standards for mathematical practice, especially I believe it's number 3, where students need to make viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others, and this is a great role for students to practice doing so. The next role I introduce is the team captain, and the role of the team captain is to check in with their team to see if they need any mathematical tools when solving a problem. And the way at least I approach this is I have a table in my classroom where I lay out any materials students may need in a problem, such as graph paper or calculators, rulers, markers, whatever I have available, but I let the students decide what they want to use to solve a problem because I think it's an important part of problem solving. But the team captain is the only student that's allowed to get up and get materials for their team, and it builds that team experience where they have to check in with their group members to see if there's anything that they need. It builds that empathy piece and a sense of responsibility. I also do something with the team captain. I learned this at a training and I love this, something I call a huddle. And so if students are working in their groups and I want to make an announcement to the entire group, I don't want to interrupt their thinking. So I say I want to see the team captains for a huddle, and I usually bring them just outside my door or somewhere in the corner, and I tell them a piece of information. For example, get your teams ready for presentations in 7 minutes. And so then the team captain has that responsibility and that piece of information to give back to the team. The last role that I introduce is the accountability manager, and this is a really important role, and I'm going to talk a lot about this role in my next video titled the accountability quiz. But essentially, the responsibility of this person is to make sure that everyone in the team understands the team's approach to the problem and can explain their thinking. So these are the 4 roles, and they're really wonderful in terms of creating that group work structure. But I have noticed that after the initial honeymoon period, when things are wonderful, students forget to use these purposefully, and they become desk decorators or kinesthetic toys or rulers. And so I realized just having group roles, it wasn't enough for creating that equal group work structure, and I've picked up a couple of teaching techniques that I use that I have changed that and have really helped to reinforce the expectations that I have for group work and has helped me make these purposeful and meaningful in my class. I'm going to post these techniques in the next 2 videos. They're going to be, one is going to be titled participation quiz, and the second one is going to be called the accountability quiz. So watch for those. Thanks for watching this one, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.